Hey, favored ones, welcome back to you guessed it, another collective reading. Yesterday, or last reading, we left off with the dice are loaded in our favor, and we really want justice, and we're the welcoming committee of Utopia. So before we get started, I just want to take a moment to settle into the energy, and you can pause and think of things that would be your personal utopia, or even on a global scale, the inclusiveness, whatever you desire and wish for. Just take this moment. So I appreciate everyone taking that moment to welcome in Utopia. That's something I would like to do over here on my channel. And yeah, before everyone gets into it, this is 111. This is a collective reading. It's not a personal reading, so don't take things personally if they don't add up to your life right now. So if the math ain't mathin', don't take it personally. Okay? And all my readings are done through friends and family at the moment before I move up to taking personals online. That's just how I am with my energy at this time. And if that changes, I will let you know with a link in my description. So if anyone tries to solicit you for a reading and being like, I got a message from spirit, let you know something terrible is going to happen, those are scammers in the spiritual community. So make sure you don't give them your hard-earned money. Today's message, I kind of wanted to go a little bit off for that eye to eye for justice. And today is going to be like receiving rewards for the actions you've taken, like the punishment fitting the crime. But what about the reward fitting the heroism and nobleness? You have a magnetic nobleness about you, my collective right now. And yeah, so I've picked out a blue tiger's eye. It's just my partner's, so I'm using it for today. Thank you. Blue tiger's eye is extremely rare, so I feel like you're extremely rare. The individuals I'm talking to, you're extremely rare, and it looks really worn out. So I feel like not only have you've been worn, people expected you to be worn out by how noble you've been, or what everything you've been through, and they're kind of confused on why you're welcoming Utopia so easily, and you're like, because I worked hard for it. So I'm also hearing beforehand is like that people are kind of pressed about it. It's like extra, read all about it, hot off the presses, the collective nobleness and heroicness, and people are kind of butthurt about it. People be kind of pressed. I'm hearing some people may call you lucky and not actually see all the hard work that you put into it. Or some people may be saying that right now you're like codependent, like either codependent on a relationship or with government funding, that you need a community crew or else you wouldn't be able to be successful. Or a group of people to be successful. So yeah, I'm feeling like hearing a lot of people are really pressed with how magnetic your nobility is. So you're your own personal knight, and you're the one who slayed all your dragons. You're the one who befriended the dragons who needed to befriend, and now you not only have you slayed the dragons that came against you, but you've also friended some along the way. And a lot of people are confused on how you're still going after all these noble quests. Like, people were out there doing main lines, and you're out here doing side quests. You're out here doing the main storyline, and it's like you still have more gas left in the tank to keep going. Some of you may be worried about whether or not you have enough gas for your tank. They're just letting you know that funding and lower prices are coming through in your area to help adjust with that, because remember, the dice is loaded in your favor. And yeah, so a lot of people are pressed that the dice are loaded in your favor. Now, I don't really want to stay in that energy too much, because it was less about how people are feeling about it, but I still felt called to call on it. Some people may take your personal isolation for the people who are generators as you are codependent, and you only hang around with your best friend, or you only hang around with your partner, or you're just not really open for friendships or something like that. That's not for everyone. That could be for some, though, or some that you constantly are taking your kid into account or taking your animals into account first. And I feel like people are pressed that you have priorities, and you're not and they're not on the top of it, which is what is making you your own personal hero in the first place. You putting other people's feelings and priorities first is what kept you in those dungeons for a really long time. And I'm kind of getting that image of how Scott Pilgrim, the first wave through to to go get Ramona, he's like punching and fighting and whatnot, and the second time through he's just like so nonchalant and like, your shirt sucks, and like giving him the death stare, and they just literally blow up. And but this time you're doing it for you. Some of you may have got into had done recovery and like sobriety, or moving on from a relationship, and a lot of the times in your past when you were choosing to do this, it was for other people. It was like, oh, I want to get sober for this job, or I want to get sober for my kids. And this time you're like, I'm doing it for my own self-respect. That's what makes it noble. Not only are you your own knight, but you are a noble knight of high honor of your own self, and you have earned your seat at the round table. And at this round table, yes. So some people are pressed that you aren't quick to fight anymore. You're not giving them your energy, and you're learning to no longer fight. You're learning that you're a wounded warrior and a wounded healer, but you are also a joy bringer. At the round table, it's a rule that no one is to have their weapon on their side. Their weapons are to be taken off and put on the seat behind them as a sign and a gesture of, I come in peace and we are equal. And that's what you're spreading around with your nobility. Some of you are human projectors, and that might be why you're really focused on readings with how other people see you, is because you want to take accountability, and you also want to know how, like, what they're projecting too, because sometimes you mirror people to let them know what they need to work on and triggering, and sometimes that triggers them into isolation because they realize they were giving their energy away too much. Yeah, some people may be pressed that you don't want to come around because it isn't aligned with who you are now. It doesn't align with that I come in peace and we are all equal energy. You may be dealing with people who are pressed you don't want to come around because they're putting you in situations that will test your sobriety, and not only like you're gonna be around it and you're gonna do it. No, I feel like your willpower is stronger than that. I feel like they cast you shade because you don't want to do it, almost like you're not fun anymore, instead of just giving you a chance to be fun, because it triggers and shines the part of them that wants to be sober. There could be peer pressuring as well going on, and yeah, that's another thing that people are oppressed, that you're being your own hero. Some people may say that you're too codependent on your family members, and a lot of people just want to doubt your fairy tale ending, and I don't think that those people are going to be around much longer, because I saw at the empty round table slowly people taking off their sword to show you they're trustworthy too. Because I feel your vibration is at that point. You're welcoming utopia. And Avalon, Camelot, where Camelot is the place where heroes go to rest. And I feel like whomever is resonating with this, and I hope it goes far and wide, because I do think all of us deserve a seat in Avalon and a place to rest in peace. And I feel like it shouldn't be the place where you etch it in a tombstone. I feel like we should rest in peace every day, because I think we've been struggling in life too long, and I feel like we should live in peace. We're going to live in peace. There's enough of this resting in peace. We are living in peace, and we rest because we are done. And that's the point where we're at, is we're done with the fighting. It's coming to an end. I've heard from one friend who's done past life regressions, and it says around in the new coming of the spring, which makes sense because every year we have a new rebirth. So there's a lot of different calendars though. Some people feel that April's the new year, some people feel that January's the new year, some people feel like we already passed the new year. So there's constantly a new year for you, and I feel like you're constantly leveling up, that you no longer need a hero. It's like you needed a hero. You already are the hero you asked for when you were a child. You've already accomplished that, so you've already become a hero. What's next? Putting down the sword, but after that, is it picking up the ink and the quill and the pen again? Is it sewing and mending? Is it exploring the world and your senses? Because when the time for fighting is over, like, how are you supposed to welcome utopia if you can't imagine not fighting? What would you do in a day where you didn't need to work for money? What would you do if it was no longer an object? I know, money's, you love money and you know just what to do with it. I know one energy came through really strong and determined about that money. It's not the point of the exercise. The exercise is if you had all the money and it wasn't an object and it wasn't a necessity. I'm not saying you don't have any money. If you had no money, what would you, if you had no need, if you needed for nothing right now in that energy, what would you want? Because you deserve your basic needs. Those dices are loaded. So dices are loaded and it's time to put down your sword. 1616, 7-7. A lot of you could enjoy Twin Peaks or those other mystery anomaly type shows, or even in real life, checking out different anomalies in the skies and different lores and legends that tale to be true. You were a legend that is taled to be true. Yeah, my boy agrees. It's like, which is Kilimanjaro, which if you played Halo is like, you get a lot of like headshots in a row, I think. I'm pretty sure it's just kills. Like, it's been a while since I played. Regardless, you're hitting your mark each time. You're getting it back to back to back to back to back. You're hitting your mark. So you're calling your shots. You're shooting your shot and you're hitting your mark of all your manifestations. So if you have time to sit and chat eye to eye with others who are feeling you on a soul level, like not just because you have a lot of things in common. You can have a lot of things in common and still not vibe. And it doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad person. It just means you're on different journeys and adventures in this university at the time. And you know, especially with all these midterms and pop quizzes from the other planets coming through, the professors, that's how I feel about our retrogrades. It's like, if you did all of the work and you studied all of the material, when they come around for midterms, you'll be ready. So a lot of you did the inner work this time. A lot of you did it. So you're noticing that you're not having as much setbacks or delays during these retrograde times, which is the whole point of them coming around, is to point out things that you're not working on. And I feel like a lot of the collective is you either did a really good job this time, or you're doing an excellent job noticing them, taking it in. As soon as the lesson comes through, you're like, oh wow, that was a really big lesson that I wasn't addressing. A lesson that you need to address. You're dressing up that lesson. You're like, I'm gonna make you mine. Some of you could have been watching the Barbie movies or enjoyed brats. Some of you could enjoy being a brat. So you've gone from being a hero to being a brat. You're going around bugging everyone, into having fun, into, instead of being super stern and like aggressive with being assertive to wake people up and get them to believe you and your way of thinking, improving yourself. You're just going around being like, okay, so don't believe in it. How's that going for you? And like, or just proving yourself right without having to oversay anything. Like, you're predicting things and people are starting to notice, or you're telling people about certain energies and it's coming up, or you're just really hitting it on the mark with your manifestations, or knowing when to take action. Because you can manifest, you can wish, you can pray, you can invest money and put aside and save forever, but if you don't take that action, if you don't put in an emotion and repetitiveness, and then it's gonna dwindle. That was the last key component of the whole ACT program, which is a certain style of therapy by Russ Harris, that I went through with my psychologist / therapist. And at the end of it, the last segment, after learning your values, and like, that's the main point that it might be, is not only is not your vibe. What's a vibe? What's a vibe, Kymmy? What even is a vibe? Okay, well, here's the vibe. It's that your core values and morals don't align. That's what the vibe is. And it doesn't make them toxic or evil, that you no longer morally or value align with that anymore. It just means that that is their unhealthy coping mechanisms. But unfortunately, everyone deserves to cope, and everyone's going to cope in the best way they know how, or to the best of their abilities. And yeah, so let's move on. Though that's what it is. Oh yes, the last part was ACT. You go from values and morals, and then you work on discovering on what those feelings are. If you want, you could look up ACT program. You could be looking on your improving your mental health. There's also down below the Toastmasters, which incorporates helping you give speeches from anywhere from a class project to going up on stage and giving a major speech as valedictorian, or and like being political and stuff in intense situations. It will help you with that. That could be very important to some of you. There's also assertiveness. There's also the learning about a mountain, different types of meditation, movement meditation. There's a lot of things that goes into becoming your own hero behind the scenes, but all they see is you're happy. So nothing bad must have happened to you. And for even people who have seen you go through it, it was like, oh, they must have some special sauce, secret formula in the back for their hamburgers. When really, I think that most of the time it's just because SpongeBob's making them and he's full of love. So you added a little bit of spice, and that spice was love. And a lot of people are out there being unseasoned white chicken breasts about the fact that you have learned to season yourself, or that you're seasoned like you've had a bunch of seasons learning a certain particular thing. Some people might not like the fact that you have more experience in them and stuff, or they may think that you're lucky because you have someone who has years of experience, and they didn't have that to welcome them into this community back then. So they're like, you had it easy, so you're not actually, you don't have as much integrity. Because And it's just giving like really butthurt energy. It's like, why would you not want things to get easier? Why would you not want people to not go through what you went through? It just doesn't make sense to me, as that's the whole reason behind this channel. And a lot of times where I poured my love into places that was not reciprocal and wasn't equally yoked. And because I didn't want people to go through things half as bad as I did, or at all, even if I could. And yeah, no, and unfortunately, a lot of people feel like you just don't want them to be happy. And they're getting in their own way. And what you're doing is you're not getting in the way to try and prove them wrong. You're just like, that's unfortunate, and you move out of the way because you don't deserve to be hit with whatever they're projecting and throwing out. You don't need that word vomit. You don't need that word vomit. People be trying to word vomit their projections on you, and you're like, no, you don't deserve that. I have worked on my own inner monologue, my own inner critic, my intrusive thoughts. I do not need you to be telling me that I deserve it harder. I don't be coming up to your controller and turning the setting onto hard mode. So don't wish that on me. Take your setting and set it to whatever you want. Set your dices to loaded. Like, you're the one who bought those dice to roll for manifestation. You wanna know what? We're gonna roll. I'm gonna roll, see what energy number. Number 3, 3, and 1. So 3, 3, 1. You could be 31. You could be turning 33, or the people that coming up in the reading could be those ages. Or 13, number 13 or 33s could be important to you. You can see them. You can also look it up online. Put it in Google search and be like 331's angel number or numerology meaning, and maybe the numbers already mean something to you anyway. Alright. Normally, I do not like to get in deep into the energy of why people are pressed, but apparently they are pressed when they should be impressed, because you're impressive. What you've done took a lot of courage to get financial help and admit that we need help in a society where they make it so we need to have help, and then people want to shame you on top of it for asking for help. It's ridiculous. And for people being codependent on other people or wanting to be really close to them, how do you know that it wasn't because in another life they lost them really early and now they're spending as much time with them as possible? Some of you may have lost someone early in this lifetime, or a last one. And a lot of people are being rude about that, honestly. Some of you are leaving a job or leaving, or cutting off family members because of the way you were treated after a loss of a loved one. A lot of you are learning who you can really rely on and who wants you to grow. It's also formed a really strong connections between the bonds that were left behind. I feel like this person was extremely loved and a lover of the mystics and the unknown and the unloved, or like the unconventional. I feel like this person was very into this like myths and lores and stuff like that, like mythology, like Thor and like I'm not gonna say its name, but creepy creatures. You wanna know, like Loch Ness Monster. That's not creepy, but like I'm just trying to give an example, like Grimm stories, Brothers Grimm. I feel like you're writing your own grimoire. A lot of people are starting, like, and just because I'm saying that in a reading doesn't mean that this isn't for you. I personally, myself, a lot of people would think that I'm constantly out here getting on my knees and salt and lighting candles, but honestly, I'm just out here just vibing, sticking to my morals, sticking to my boundaries, wishing people well. I don't really practice that a lot. I did in the past for like protection, but I don't feel like I'm at that stage anymore. Of course, I do protect and cleanse my spaces, but I just don't feel like I need to do it at a certain moon time and everything else like that. So if there's anyone out there who doesn't have a coven or a ritual, or really knows where to start with all this, the craft, and whether or not you want to call yourself a witch or a druid or a swamp goblin or a banshee or even a kitty cat, whatever you want to call yourself, you're welcome here. I just wanted to let you know that. I'm giving confirmation for those who do resonate with it, and I just wanted to let everyone know that you're welcome here, and you don't have to practice a certain way in order to be welcome here. Woo. Hell yeah, I'm taking that one. It is the Empress energy, so take gender out of it, non-binary, fluid, what have you. You are cloaking yourself in the cosmic energies of the universe and inner knowing. Yeah, you're telling these retrogrades, I see you. I thank you for bringing me these lessons, and I know who is meant to be around me, and I know who I'm meant to have inside of my my own little galaxy. And it's revitalizing your energy, your sacral and solar chakra. It's really helping you pour out your inner creative galaxy, whether that's, and I see a lot of stream of different incomes or a stream of different projects back to back to back to back to back. Some biggers, some smaller, some with more density, and some a little bit more airy and gassy. Some of you could be chemists or work with chemistry, or just have gas in general. A lot of you could be releasing at this time. I know I get hiccups or like air bubbles that I release as I am ascending energies and my frequency is getting higher, so you may notice that. Or you're working on being more mindful with what you're putting into your body, drinking less carbonations, and like more natural sugars, depending on your body and what it needs. You're really listening to what your inner gut system needs. You're not listening to the whole world on the outside on what they've told you your whole life you're supposed to be eating. Like, it's like, it reminds me of, I think it's Aso Tarot, where she was younger and like she didn't want to eat meat, and then she got older and she didn't want to eat meat anymore. And like, for a personal example, I always like felt like milk was always bad for me, and then I got older and found out that it's not. I have lactose and like intolerance. Uh, it fluctuates on for everyone on, yeah, even if you have your own um eating intolerance, like a food intolerance or an allergy, like a different abrasion to your own gut system, some people can eat a lot of lactose. And that's why when I went for my, thank you for reminding me of ASO so that I can remember my own gut um, brain. When you go for a test for lactose intolerance, they give you this liquid, which is absolutely disgusting. Um, and then they make you sit there to find out how severe it is, like whether you could go the whole entire thing, and it would show inside of your blood work that it was slowed down and processed, but it didn't actually give you any symptoms. So some of you could be asymptomatic with certain things, like with psoriasis. Some people might be able to eat meat. Some might be might get flare up from eating it. So you're not letting other people and like doctors and forums like online tell you what your body can't eat and how often you're supposed to eat. Some of you may be fasting. Some of you may not agree with diets at all because you may have had an eating disorder growing up. Sorry, just no trigger there, but I'm just trying to speak freely. And I don't want to shame anyone to feel ashamed or any stigma about that information, and be able to talk normally about it, because it is an important topic not to brush under the rug and not to hide your face and face it head on. Some of you could be talking about your mental health or your spiritual practices so that it is normalized and people will see it head on without covering up anymore. Being ourselves authentically and unapologetically. Some of you could be remodeling or just cleansing your home right now, fall cleaning. It's like, it kind of reminds me of the curtains and people like drawing back the curtains and letting the sun come in with some air and just blow all the cleansing air, and like the lemons have come in and like that lemon zesty smelling like stuff. I don't know if anyone else has that as a core memory, but it's like Lysol lemon pledge or something like that for cleaning wood. A lot of you could work with wood or do varnishing. A lot of you could be repainting and doing a dresser that you weren't happy with. And this will not only give you a creative outlet, but a new personal touch to your home, but a sense of accomplishments of something that you built with your hands. I usually say that on my channel, that a lot of us are healers with our hands, but I feel like I'm not being in depth enough with that. Like healing, like you could be builder and you built someone a you build someone something out of your hands, an art project, either a friendship bracelet or a small wooden toy that for a kid in a family, and it's really sparks the joy inside of that inner child wonder in that person. And or if you gave it to like your nephew, then you're healing that next generation of being reminded that they are thought of and they are seen. I feel like you're making people feel seen by showing yourself, by no longer being an indented wallflower, is one of my favorite sayings is because, like, it's like you're feeling like an indentured servant, but instead of doing things, what you're doing is staying out of the way, even though you weren't in the way to begin with. You were just taking up space that was yours all along. And that's what I mean by being an indented wallflower. You put yourself on the wall, even though everyone's staring at you there anyway, and wanting you to come out and show. Those who really want to see your light are like, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. It's them. It's the collective. Oh my goodness. It's you. It's you. It's really you. I feel like a lot of people are waiting like an astrological event. People are waiting for you to shine your brightest, because some people can tell that you're dimming your light, or we're dimming your light, and you're slowly turning up the knob, like, how high can I go? And you're turning that dial. And people are like, okay, you ready? Are you ready? You got your goggles? Because it's about to be an astronomical, like, out of this world event when this collective turns it up on high, and they're ready there. Like when you go to see a solar flare or something, you know, a solar flare, or, you know, and I'm getting so excited, like, okay, when, you know, like, having a lunar eclipse or solar eclipse or solar flare, and everyone goes and gets their special glasses, their special equipment, so that they can look at it without getting hurt, without the super bright light blinding them. I feel like that's what's happening. People are like, okay, get your eclipse glasses ready, because I want to see this. When it goes down, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be ready. I want to see this go down. Because if they were super cool and impressive to watch when they were being a noble knight, imagine how cool they're gonna be when they decide to be the biggest star in the night. You're going from being the noble knight to being the brightest star in the night. That's some powerful stuff. Yes. I can feel the heat already coming down across my face. Some of them feel like you are gracing them with your presence. Yeah, some people are like, oh, whatever, it's just a solar eclipse, who cares? It only happens once every, yeah, it's rare. You know, you don't find a person like this every dynasty. Even though there's a whole bunch of us clicking on this video. But we're spread out, right? And some of us are in the same cities, but still, we're normally spread out with our routines and our schedules. And when we get together, though, we get together, the happier we'll be. So yeah, a lot of your friends might not be friends with others, but a lot of your friends are friends with others. Some of you may be stepping into a community where you'll be known by a lot of people, and not just in one community, but like all over the city in different cliques and different niches, because you're a multifaceted person. Yeah, they're just gonna be there waiting. Like, some people literally go and march and walk and hike for miles and travel different continents for some events. Like, I know some people go to Stonehenge for certain events so that they can see it align with them. Going to the pyramids and literally looking at Sirius and the Orion belt and the guys of Pyramids, guys of pyramids all aligning. With the blue, the crystal going on, I feel like some of you could be Starseeds from, and with the galactic alignment here, you could be with the Galactic Council. I'm getting Andromedon, I'm getting Blue Avians and Syrians. A lot with the blue, I'm getting Atlantean energy as well. A lot of you could be not only pulled to Egypt, but a lot of the other deserts as well. That includes in Turtle Island of North America, with like Texas and California. I'm getting Israel and Pakistan. So yeah, especially with these robes here too, a lot of you could be embracing other cultures and learning more about the world and the galactic history and how they all tie together. Anthropology. That the number 3 could be important to you as well, with the Empress being the number 3. Sitting within your own abundant energy. Making something out of nothing, or making something out of what you got, because lemons didn't originally exist. It is human made. So a lot of people are going to be witnessing something that was already sort of made, but you made it your own, or something you completely invented yourself, or you were reinventing yourself. You were used to be just the citrus fruit, but now you've gone to I said some of you could be chemists or alchemists. Yeah, I said chemistry earlier. Bakers as well, because it's type of chemistry. Yeah, but some of you could be alchemists. And turning this citrus fruit into a lemon. And some people find lemons to be and lemons can be different things. Some lemons are bitter, some lemons are sweet, and some it depends on what season. So, and people got to meet you at a certain type. People are starting to realize you are not always going to be sweet. Sometimes you're going to be bitter with them, handle you correctly, or else you know how to adjust the chemistry. You adjust to people's chemistry. You can sense the chemistry that you have between people. Some of you could be making, working with aromatherapy to help make you feeling more inside of your own energy, and just feeling a little of that little bit of extra perks to your day. Yeah, I'm getting that as well. I'm getting a lot of spinach and detoxification with the lemon, because lemon is used for detoxification and cleansing. That's what the pledge was for. Cleansing your system, especially with kale and spinach, for heavy toxins. Heavy metal toxins might be releasing at this time, or just releasing toxins from your system. Some of you could be quitting smoking or cutting back, doing a a tolerance break. Some of you may have to cleanse yourself for your work and your job environment. And some people may have not been able to see you get over that because of your codependentness to certain lifestyles, and they're very surprised by this, and you become your own hero and you're able to sustain yourself. Some of you could do white light healing. I was gonna say light language, or singing, something to do with your vocals, because I'm getting like harpsichord, but like hearts the chord. So a lot of you are sending healing energy out to the universes and different dimensions with your music and your intentions of the vibration of your heart. So yeah, that exercises with the utopia, welcoming utopia could be something that you're doing, or sending the energy out there so that it will reflect back to you for those who are human projectors. And the human generators are reinventing themselves right now. Am I taking another card from the spirit? Am I taking one from here? No. Am I taking one from here? Uh-huh. Okay. I'm listening to the kitty. For that is confirmation enough for me. Thank you, Olympus. Y'all, my youngest has blessed us. Well, I call her the youngest, but the two younger ones are twins. My matching bookends. A lot of you could be in a matriarch type system, because that joke always reminds me of Asterix and Obelix, the movie, with the Vikings, and she's like, remember to bring me back some new matching bookends. He's like, okay, I'll make sure that I'll get twins. And but yeah, some of you could have dealt with Norse mythology, runes casting, or having a medicine man, or also a matriarch system, because inside of the Vikings, the woman was in charge of the finances and making all of the like financial decisions. Back then, if a woman cast you aside, it was great shame. So a lot of people may be pressed and feeling great shame because they fumbled you, or because they've been cast aside by you because they thought you were never going to let them go. Some of this is your family. Some of this is your friends or frenemies. You're friends to them. They're not friends to you. So that's what I'm saying here. So let's see what we got. Sorry, I didn't mean to like ugly laugh, but my Olympus is a Maine Coon, and the card I pulled out is literally the lion's mane, and she really loves my other oldest cat, who's a water sign. The neighbor next door is having so much fun trying to get the dog to come inside. So some of you may have dogs who like play hard to get inside. 53 on the clock. A lot of your animals may be extra playful, or you may have a cat that acts very dog-like, which Olympus does. She'll play fetch and she'll howl at the moon all the time. This is not a fish. That is very much a vase. I don't know why, but when I was looking at it through here, I could tell why. It kind of looks like a fish, like swimming away from, like, jumping out of the water. So you're jumping out of the water through your current obstacles. When salmon swim up river, they jump up the rapids. Like, you are rapidly jumping over your obstacles. Some of you may baby speak to your pets, and just some of you may also talk very serious to them and treat them like they're actual, like, well, they are actual humans. I know it. Little alien shaped babies with humans' brains. I know it. Leadership, number 18. So on the 18th, you could be coming up here could be a significant day to you. Doesn't have to be 18, number 9, completion. So you are completing, you are almost at the completion of your journey to your leadership role. You've had enough experiences, you've had enough trips out to sea, you've been through many storms, and you can see the storms in the background there, but you can also see the rainbow coming through in the middle of the night. See, like, you are becoming the star, the brightest star of the night. You are making your wishes come true. You're making other people's wishes come true too. Leadership. Yeah, you are leading your own ship. Some of you could be Libras with the scale sign. A lot of you could work with Anubis. Or working on making your heart feel a little bit lighter. A lot of you could be working on giving back in different ways for all the times that you were helped along the way. Like me with this channel, there's many people I met along the way who I have no possibility or know-how of getting, like, returning their kindness to me in the most darkest of hours. And there's some that I have returned this favor to, but for those, like, for example, there was one guy who just knew, just looking at me. I used to be terrible with taking buses, and it'd make me anxious, especially downtown area, because I didn't go down there very often, and all the tall buildings and not very good indication of what street corners are or what direction. I get so turned around, and I was going somewhere very important, and I was trying to find my connected bus stop, and I got off at the right time. I had no idea. The pictures that I took on the phone, they just weren't adding up to, you know, the visual that was in front of me. And I was walking down the street, and I did not think I had given any indication that I needed help. And this individual walked right up to me, and they're like, "Are you lost?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Where are you trying to go?" I'm like, "I'm trying to get this bus." And they're like, "You gotta go back that way and around the corner, and we'll be right there." They're like, "Do you want me to come with you?" I'm like, "No, sure, I can find it. That's really good and simple instructions. Thank you." And I feel like that's where you are in your life. You're starting to vibrate at a level of truth and sincerity that people are starting to be sincere and truthful around you, and noticing when you need help before you even need to ask. And they're giving you and offering you that help and support because you deserve it. It should be readily available by people who have enough spoons. So let's see what the book has to say. Yeah, you've grown into your mane. Some of you have a really nice beard or a head of hair. Some of you could be actual Leos or have a Leo significant other who's your main Or just a Leo that you tune into, like your main channel that you listen to is like a Leo or a fire sign, or a Libra, because with the symbols there. You're balancing. You're sacredly balancing each other. You're balancing yourself out, because you're not only balancing your divine give, you're also embracing your divine take. You're taking it all in. So your masculine knows when to take action, and your divine feminine knows when to absorb more energy, like a spirit bomb, sucking in all the cosmic energy to send out again, and to be grounded within your own energy. Yeah, I love how the water's giving. You've been watering yourself so much. That is literally a whole ocean. You've been watering yourself for so long that you're gonna get a whole jungle out of this. Okay. Sacred masculine, leadership, ambition, provider. Strong-willed and spiritual power. Its astrology ruler is Mercury and Uranus, whatever they want to call it nowadays, but it's definitely part of this reading. Lion's mane has been used as food and medicine for over 2,000 years in the high mountains. And my cat's named after a mountain, y'all. The highest mountain in the regions of Asia. It is nicknamed include beard's tooth or pom-pom mushroom. In traditional Chinese medicine, it is referred to as the hutugu, or the monkey head mushroom, and in Japan it is called the yamabushikaki. During Chinese dynasty period, Buddhist monks were said to use the lion's mane as nutrient food and in tea to enhance focus and brain power during meditation. In traditional Chinese medicine, the lion's mane is used to combative qi, the life force that I said you all were working towards having and pulling in for the spirit bomb. So this, you find out where some lion's mane is, you can help activate that qi. It's used to combat a qi deficiency. So some of you could be having a qi deficiency. Some of you could have it be pulling off center. Nurture the liver, spleen, lung, heart, and kidneys. Nourish the gut and even fight cancer. I said you were working with your guts. I said you're working on your gut chemistry, learning what you need, working with your lungs and your heart and your blood pressure, especially if you're quitting smoking or drinking. That is definitely, or any other hard drugs for that matter. That will definitely help. Or help it along with your lungs and everything else, get it pumping back into normal systems. All systems go. Modern scientific research has proven that lion's mane is a nutrient defense fungus with many healing properties, such as stimulating the growth of the neurons in the brain and helping the neurological conditions. So yeah, creating that gray brain matter that comes along with it. So that can help with memory loss, with people who are worried about Alzheimer's, and stuff like that. It can really help. Lion's mane is this assist nerve growth factor, which enables the brain to heal itself, therefore assist with cognition, memory retention, and mental performance. So yeah, it helps with nerve growth too for people who are dealing with psoriasis or other nerve damages. TMJ. I'm getting another one too for people who may be clenching their jaw too much from either grinding your teeth from stress in your sleep, or from excessive drug use. The way in which the narrative nutritive fungus is capable of expanding perception and mental skills to the attributes to the power of Mercury, also known as the messenger of the gods. Mercury is great communicator, so eating this during Mercury retrograde. Okay, got it. Got it. Representing brilliance, intelligence, and the free flow of energy, lion's mane is also governed by the sun, as it is a great provider of vitality, longevity, and resilience and adaptability. Guidance. The lion is guidance. The lion is the symbol of power, the primordial essence within the sacred masculine that expresses itself as relentless determination, ambition, and focus and will. When we meet lion's mane, we immediately feel a regal and generous presence. When out of balance, vanity and overconsumption blocks the flow of love coming in to inspire ambition. Power isn't powerful when you put others or yourself down. You are a wielder of raw power and may be destructive if consequences are overlooked. Lead your life from a place of compassionate leadership, and the rest will follow. So yeah, that's everything I have here for today. So you're going from, you've already graduated from being, you've earned your badges, you've earned your seat at the round table. You have earned your seat at the round table of of being a noble knight, and now they want you to turn your attention to being the brightest star of the night. I hope to see you all after the weekend. It may be 3 days until I post again, depending on how my weekend trip goes and how much energy and if I'm called to. And I hope to see you all there. And remember to eat, hydrate, and have fun. Bye!